Why does Allah warn us about certain people? Because not everyone who enters our life is meant to stay. And not everyone who smiles at us truly wishes us well. Some people carry kindness in their hearts, while others may bring harm, deception, or distraction away from our faith. Life is a test, and one of the greatest tests is the company we keep. The Prophet Muhammad reminded us that a person is upon the religion of their close friend. So each of us should carefully consider who we let into our hearts and lives. At times we become blinded by love, loyalty, or trust. We ignore red flags because our emotions overpower our reason. We hold on to relationships, whether friendships, family ties, or even romantic connections, even when they silently drain us. But Allah, out of His mercy, does not leave us without guidance. He places signs, subtle or obvious, that warn us, this person is not good for your soul, your peace, or your journey toward me. Recognizing those signs is not just about avoiding pain. It is about safeguarding our faith, dignity, and emotional well-being. The truth is, Allah sees what we cannot. He hears the conversations we are not present in. He knows the intentions that people hide, and He understands the dangers that lie ahead if we stay connected to someone toxic or harmful. While we only see the surface, Allah knows the depths of every heart. That's why sometimes when you pray for peace, Allah answers by removing certain people. When you ask for strength, He shows you who is secretly weakening you. And when you pray for guidance, He gives you clarity about who is leading you away from Him. Yet, letting go is never easy. We are humans deeply attached to memories, words, and shared experiences. We often confuse temporary comfort with true goodness. That's why Allah's warnings come as a form of mercy, to detach us from what harms us and connect us to what benefits us. A toxic relationship may look glittering on the outside but can silently poison the soul. A friend may laugh with you but envy your blessings. A family member may speak of love but secretly plot against you. Allah exposes these truths in ways we might not immediately recognize. Through consistent disappointment, repeated betrayal, or a heart that never feels at peace in their presence. In those moments, we must remember Allah never takes away without giving something better. When He warns you about someone, it's not to isolate you but to protect you. His guidance is a shield, and His warnings are lanterns on a dark road. If you learn to read them, you will walk in the safety of His light, avoiding the traps that were never meant for you. Because in the end, it's simple. The people who draw you closer to Allah are your true blessings, and the people who pull you away are His warnings. And Allah, out of His infinite mercy, will always show you the difference, if you choose to see it. One of the clearest warnings Allah gives us about someone is when the present tense consistently pulls us away from Him. Sometimes it's obvious. They openly mock religion, discourage you from praying, or laugh at your efforts to follow Islam. But often, it's subtle. They may never say, don't pray. But their influence, their lifestyle, or even their conversations slowly make you neglect what matters most. Before you realize it, the person who once prayed 5 times a day is now missing Salah, forgetting the duck and finding the curtain too heavy to open. That's not coincidence, it's a warning. Allah tells us in the Quran that on the day of judgment, people will regret their friendships. Woe to me! I wish I had not taken that person as a close friend. He led me away from the reminder after it had come to me. Surah Al-Furqan 25:28-29. This shows that companionship has power. The right friend strengthens your faith. The wrong one destroys it. If you notice that every time you're with someone, your iman drops, your heart feels heavy, and your worship weakens, then recognize Allah is showing you a sign. It doesn't mean that person is evil in every way, but it does mean they are not good for your soul. Some people carry negativity, worldly obsessions, or habits that clash with faith. For example, being around someone who constantly invites you to gossip, overspend, party, or waste time. All these habits chip away at your relationship with Allah. Even if they care for you, their influence could still harm you. That's why the Prophet compared good and bad companions to sellers of perfume and blacksmiths. One leaves you smelling good, the other leaves you stained with smoke. Allah's warning often comes through a restless heart. You may feel guilty after spending time with them, or you notice your prayers feel empty. That discomfort is not random, it is a divine alarm bell. The mistake many people make is ignoring it. They tell themselves, it's just a phase, or I can handle it. But iman is fragile. Just as a small spark can burn down a forest, small influences can slowly burn away your faith. If you notice these signs, take them seriously. It doesn't mean you must hate or cut off everyone instantly, but it does mean you must protect your deen, create distance, set boundaries, or at least reduce the time you spend with those who weaken your faith. Remember, no person, no friendship, no relationship is worth losing Allah for. Because in the end, the people who truly love you are the ones who bring you closer to Allah, and the people who distance you from Him, no matter how much they claim to care, are a warning you cannot afford to ignore. One of the ways Allah warns you about someone is by showing you that their presence consistently causes more harm than good in your life. It may not always be dramatic, sometimes it's quiet, subtle, and gradual. But if you pay attention, you'll realize that instead of bringing calmness, strength, or growth, that person brings confusion, heaviness, and pain. Every human relationship is a test, but the right ones are a source of mercy. Allah describes spouses, friends, and companions in the Quran as garments for one another, protectors, comforters, and sources of warmth. But when a person becomes the opposite, stripping away your peace, security, or sense of dignity, then Allah may be showing you that this is not someone to hold close. Think about it. Do you leave conversations with them feeling uplifted or drained? Do their words inspire you to be better, or do they plant seeds of doubt and negativity? Do they celebrate your success with sincerity, or do you feel subtle envy in their tone? If every encounter leaves you with more wounds than healing, more restlessness than serenity, then Allah is sending you a message: this person is not good for your heart. Sometimes the harm is emotional, constant criticism, belittling, or making you feel unworthy. Sometimes it's spiritual, distracting you from prayer, encouraging sin, or mocking your efforts to grow closer to Allah. And sometimes it's simply the absence of good. They are never there when you need them, but always present when it benefits them. You begin to notice a pattern: your peace weakens in their presence, but strengthens in their absence. That pattern itself is guidance from Allah. The danger is when we ignore these warnings out of attachment. We justify harmful behavior by saying, "They didn't mean it," or "I'll be patient." Patience is a virtue, yes, but Islam never teaches us to endure consistent harm when Allah Himself is showing us signs to walk away. The Prophet taught us that the believer is not stung from the same hole twice, meaning, we must learn from repeated pain and take action. Allah, in His mercy, sometimes lets the harm become visible so you can see clearly what He already knows about that person. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is Allah trying to show me?" Because every disappointment, betrayal, or wound could be the very sign you were praying for. A divine answer telling you, this person is not written for your peace. True companions in life bring balance, ease, and reminders of Allah. If someone consistently brings you closer to hardship, chaos, or sin, then no matter how much history you share, they are not a blessing, they are a warning. And the sooner you see that, the sooner you can protect your heart for the people Allah has written to bring you peace. Trust is one of the foundations of any meaningful relationship. Without trust, there can be no real love, loyalty, or sincerity. Allah has made amana al-trustworthiness one of the highest qualities of a believer, and the Prophet himself was known as al-Amin, the trustworthy, even before his prophethood. So, when someone repeatedly betrays your trust, that's not just a personal issue, it's a spiritual warning. When Allah shows you that a person cannot keep your secrets, cannot remain loyal, or cannot honor their word, He is telling you something vital. This is not someone safe for your heart or your faith. A trustworthy person will guard your dignity even in your absence. But someone untrustworthy will use your vulnerability against you, twist your words, or expose your weaknesses when it benefits them. If you see this pattern happening again and again, don't ignore it. That's Allah protecting you. The Prophet said, the signs of a hypocrite are three: when he speaks, he lies; when he promises, he breaks it; and when he is trusted, he betrays that trust. Bukhari and Muslim. Notice that betrayal of trust is directly linked to hypocrisy. This doesn't mean everyone who fails once is a hypocrite. We are all human and can make mistakes. But when betrayal becomes a repeated pattern, it reveals something much deeper about that person's character. Sometimes betrayal comes in big ways, like spreading your private matters, backbiting, or abandoning you when you needed them most. Other times it's small but consistent, not keeping promises, lying about simple things, or manipulating your emotions. Each act may feel forgivable on its own, but when the same behavior repeats, Allah is showing you clearly, do not place your heart in this person's hands. The danger comes when we confuse forgiveness with blindness. Islam encourages forgiveness, yes, but it also commands wisdom. You can forgive someone yet still recognize that they are not safe to trust again. Forgiveness is for your peace, trust is earned through actions. If Allah shows you betrayal once, it's a test. If He shows you twice, it's a stronger test. But if it keeps repeating and you still ignore it, then you're not protecting the trust Allah gave you, your heart, your dignity, and your faith. Remember, a trustworthy companion is one of the greatest blessings of life. They lift you, protect you, and stand with you in hardship. If Allah removes someone untrustworthy from your life, it may hurt, but it's His way of making space for someone better. So, when trust is broken again and again, don't just see betrayal, see the warning, and let Allah guide you to the people worthy of your trust. Sometimes Allah's warnings are not in words or actions, but in feelings. He has placed within every believer a compass, the fitrah's natural disposition, that recognizes peace when it's near and feels disturbed when something is harmful. If your heart consistently feels uneasy, restless, or heavy around a certain person, it may be Allah showing you that this person is not meant to be close to you. This restlessness can show up in many forms. Maybe you notice that whenever you're with them, your salah feels distracted. Maybe after meeting them, you carry a strange heaviness that lingers. Maybe your heart quietly whispers, something isn't right. Even when your mind tries to justify their behavior, that whisper isn't random. It could be Allah's way of protecting you before harm unfolds. The Prophet A gave us an important principle. Righteousness is good character, and sin is what wavers in your heart, and you dislike that people should come to know of it. Muslim. This shows that the heart has a way of sensing what the eyes may not yet see. If someone's presence repeatedly makes your heart waver, doubt, or feel spiritually weaker, then Allah may be guiding you through those feelings. Of course, not every moment of discomfort means a person is bad. We all go through misunderstandings, mistakes, or differences in personality. But the key is consistency. If every interaction leaves your heart unsettled, and if that feeling grows instead of fading, then it's not just a mood. It's a sign. Sometimes we ignore these inner alarms because we don't want to lose people we're attached to. We tell ourselves, maybe I'm overthinking. I just need to be more patient. But while patience is valuable, ignoring repeated restlessness can be dangerous. That unease is often the mercy of Allah, saving you from pain that your eyes cannot yet see. Think of it as a spiritual red flag your heart knows before your mind accepts. Another sign is when your duo feels heavier after being with them. Instead of your heart being closer to Allah, you feel more distant, more distracted, or even guilty. That shift in your spiritual state is one of the clearest indicators that Allah is showing you the reality of this person. True companions bring sukoon, tranquility. The Quran describes marriage as a source of sakinah, peace, and righteous friends as helpers on the path of faith. If a person consistently robs you of peace and replaces it with confusion, doubt, or heaviness, then Allah may be warning you this is not your person. In life, peace is priceless. If your heart feels restless around someone, don't bury that feeling. Reflect on it, pray for guidance, and be willing to let go. Because Allah never takes away peace unless He intends to replace it with something far better. Perhaps the clearest warning Allah gives us about a person is when their influence consistently pushes us towards sin. It might not always be direct, like saying, "Come, let's disobey Allah." Instead, it's often subtle, normalizing what is forbidden, joking about what Allah has prohibited, or making you feel that sin is not a big deal. Over time, this weakens your heart, lowers your shame, and makes disobedience seem easy. The Quran repeatedly reminds us to be mindful of who we associate with. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah says, "And keep yourself patient by being with those who call upon their Lord in the morning and the evening seeking His face. And let not your eyes pass beyond them, desiring adornments of the worldly life." So 18:28. This verse teaches us that being around people who remember Allah keeps us firm, while surrounding ourselves with the opposite leads us astray. When someone encourages sin, it may start small. Maybe they laugh at gossip and invite you to join. Maybe they downplay missing a prayer. Maybe they introduce habits like music, harem relationships, dishonesty, or extravagance as normal. Bit by bit, the standards of faith erode, not because you chose to rebel, but because you allowed yourself to be shaped by their influence. That's how Shaitan works, not through sudden rebellion, but through gradual compromise. The Prophet A gave a powerful example. The example of a good companion and a bad companion is like the seller of musk and the one who blows the bellows, a blacksmith. The musk seller will either give you some perfume, or you will buy some from him, or at least you will enjoy a pleasant smell. But the blacksmith will either burn your clothes, or you will get a bad smell from him. A Bukhari and Muslim. In other words, companionship always leaves a mark, good or bad. Allah's warning becomes clear when you notice that your heart is more comfortable disobeying Him when this person is around. You might skip Salah without guilt, laugh at sins you once avoided, or find yourself defending things you know are wrong. This shift in your moral compass is not random. It's Allah showing you that this relationship is dangerous for your soul. True love and friendship are never about dragging someone into sin. Real care is when someone protects your dignity in this world and your soul in the next. If a person truly cares, they will want Jannah with you, not Jahannam because of you. So, when Allah shows you someone pulling you toward disobedience, no matter how charming or close they are, it's a sign to protect yourself and step back. At the end of the day, every companion is either a ladder to Allah or a chain dragging you away from Him. And when Allah reveals which one they are, it's your responsibility to choose wisely. Because on the day of judgment, no friend or loved one will carry your burden. Your choices will. At the end of the day, not every person who walks into your life is a blessing. Some are tests and others are warnings. Allah, in His infinite mercy, never leaves you without guidance. He shows you through repeated patterns, broken trust, restless hearts, and spiritual decline who is safe for your soul and who is not. The question is, are you paying attention? Remember, protecting your faith and your peace is not selfish, it is obedience to Allah. When He removes someone from your life, it may hurt at first, but it is always to make space for something better. Real companions will lift your iman, remind you of Allah, and stand with you in truth. Anyone who consistently pulls you away from that is not your gift, they are your warning. So the next time you feel uneasy, betrayed, or spiritually weakened by someone's presence, pause and reflect. Maybe this is Allah's way of answering your doors. Maybe this is Him protecting you from harm you cannot yet see. Trust His wisdom, trust His signs, and trust that every warning is also a doorway to something greater. Because Allah never takes away except to give back better. And when you let go of the wrong people for His sake, He will send you the right ones who lead you closer to Him and to Jannah.